OnScreen.
Well, I noticed you've done a lot of period features and series before. So, what challenges and benefits do these kind of roles afford you as opposed to, more contemporary features?
I mean, the period of something isn't exactly something that I focus on when I'm looking at a script, but there is something fun about not just getting your head into a different character or emotions, but a different kind of set of values and a different mindset that comes with a different time period. And also getting the chance to kind of research a little bit about that, about the time, and obviously the costume and makeup. It means that every part I play is completely different look, so it kind of, that
I'm sure it makes slipping into the role a little bit easier.
Yeah, it really does. It's like you obviously you do your like psychological prep, I suppose, finding the character before you start, but then once you're on set, it's like a really easy in and out of character every day. You kind of put on the costume and it's totally different physicality, different feeling.
Finest Hours isn't just a disaster movie or a romance, it's also something of a biopic, and you mentioned doing the research. So how much did you do into Miriam and the whole story of Bernie's rescue?
Well, when I read the script, I then did the standard Google on Bernie Webber and the cursory Google, and there's a few amazing interviews with Bernie that you can listen to of his own telling of the story and of the day, which was fascinating to listen to. But for me, I mean, for my personal research for the character, I went out to Chatham, which is where the events took place and where actually we ended up filming. And I met Patty, Bernie and Miriam's daughter, who took me on a tour around Chatham, and we got a chance to visit the Coast Guard station and the lighthouse, and step on the actual 36-500 boat, like the original boat that made the rescue that day. And just listening to her talk a little bit about her family and her mum and the similarities between the storyline and what actually happened in their relationship. And she also introduced me to a contemporary of Miriam's, which was it was supposed to be for accent, really. I kind of had gone down to record. I was hoping to record girls in pubs to kind of or in bars to kind of for accent, but it turns out that Chatham is now quite a tourist village, and like no one sounded like I wanted to. But I did meet a woman who kind of had a similar kind of tone of voice, and she. It was just meeting her and hearing her stories really helped me put into the mindset of the period the idea of being self-assured, strong, independent woman, but still having that total family values, an idea of a strength of a belief in marriage, and the idea of kind of standing by your man, was that would kind of really help me kind of slot my mind into character.
Out of her time in her mindset, she's very assured. She will just barge into a place and.
Yeah, she definitely has a self-assurity that kind of brings a confidence to defy social conventions, like proposing to her boyfriend, and that being, she kind of totally has the gut to go with her instinct all the time, and waltzing into his place of work, demanding that his boss call him back because it feels right to her. But she still has the like traditional values of she meets this man, she has the instinct, and she knows that she wants to marry him, and it's still the kind of 1950s kind of, I don't know, traditional family values is still upheld in Miriam.
Yeah, and you got to play the on-screen fiancé of Chris Pine.
I did.
I'm sure was a massive struggle.
Yeah, huge.
How fun was that, and what was your impression of him beforehand, and did that change over filming at all?
Yeah, I mean, it changed on the first day or I'd never seen Chris play a character like Bernie before, and so in our first rehearsal, I think we both kind of fell in love with the relationship between Bernie and Miriam, and because he plays Bernie with so sweet and so humble and so kind of like back-footed, or kind of his self-assurity is hidden. He's not as front-footed and open about it as Miriam is.
So whilst Chris and Casey had to do with flooded sets and water being flung in their faces, you sort of got the better end of the deal.
I did.
For most of the part, staying indoors in the warm.
For most of it, I got to stay dry, but my lasting memories of this film is I can't actually remember being inside much at all because there was an awful lot of being outside in the snow, of the kind of or being in the car or being in the and it was pretty chilly. I mean, it was kind of minus whatever on those days. I think there was one day it was kind of just going dusk, the sun was setting, you could literally feel the temperature drop as you saw the sun go down the horizon. And Craig, the director, came up to me in between shots to give me a note, and I'm in this little 1950s dress with bare legs, and he came up to me with 2 coats on, 2 fluffy coats, a hat, and his scarf pulled up to there and an icicle hanging from his nose. And I was like, can I just get my coat on?
Okay, well, it was lovely to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Nice to meet you.